ṣé ṣe pé àwọn ará village tún wà ní India báyìí?
Anyway, good evening. You're welcome to Opinion Sharers. My name is Paul. If you're joining us for the first time, it's Opinion Sharers, a platform that is dedicated to ordinary, everyday people to be able to share their opinion, to be heard as citizens of Africa and citizens of the world. And so tonight we're going to be talking about some of the happenings in Nigeria. And if you can see the title that is sliding through the screen, you will see that I'm going to be talking about in relation to 2023 Nigerian election, and we'll be looking at issues that are happening at the moment. I have Michael in the house who is currently in Nigeria, and he would be giving us an update into what's happening and then what are the preparations towards 2023. So I have two other guests. They are all regular guests on this platform. So, but before we continue, let's quickly share the link to invite other people who might be interested in the discussion. So, my guests and those who are watching us, please help us in sharing the link. Let's take about less than a minute, half a minute to quickly do that. So I'm going to grab my phone and quickly share the link. So please help us in doing the same. Thank you. Please help me share the link. Share. Michael, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. Because your face look as if. All right. So, Village, have you gotten the link? Has the Village Boy gotten the link?
Yes, I got it. I'm sorry, I muted. So that,
Okay, it's okay.
You are muted, Paul.
Yes, I did. I muted because I think some guys are making noise in my neighborhood.
You are muted, Paul.
So, all right, I think we can go ahead now. Thank you for joining us. If you're just tuning in, my name is Paul Fadumo Abiodun Paul, and tonight we are going to be talking about Nigeria preparation towards 2020 general election in Nigeria, the need for quality leadership, and we're also going to be examining the role of good citizens. Nigeria, in my own personal opinion, I think Nigeria is a country that could be great. Is a country that could be highly successful. Is a country that is rich in raw resources. Majority of the Nigerian resources has never been developed, especially the human capital has not been tapped into, has not been developed. So the resources, the natural resources that has been tapped into so far are the ones that are easily available, easy to, you can quickly sell it and get quick cash. That's my opinion. And, it's opinion sharer. So I believe that I am protected to be able to share my opinion. So anyway, I have guests tonight who are going to be answering questions in this regard. This topic was motivated by something that I saw on Twitter about 2 or 3 days ago, and this was an opinion shared by one of Nigeria's billionaires, Tony Elumelu. So I just went to Twitter that morning, and then, on my laptop, I just saw his message. He was ranting about how Nigeria has become, things are not easy, prices are skyrocketing. I guess maybe his colleagues, maybe junior colleagues. I'm sure. Maybe I don't know. Maybe billionaires like him should be complaining, but I guess his junior colleagues must have been ranting. Perhaps they're asking for higher pay, and especially because the prices of crude oil. I mean, not crude oil. The prices of petrol and diesel has gone up. So it probably would be paying more for all of this because they would need that to run their businesses, especially when I learned that there was dark. I mean, is it the electric grid crashed? I don't know how to describe it. I'm sure that.
Collapse.
Okay,
Collapse.
okay, collapsed. So, Michael, your camera is turned upside down, kind of. If you can quickly reposition that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, since Michael is in Nigeria, I want him to quickly, in 1 minute, just give us an insight into what's happening regarding all this electricity, inflation, insecurity, uh, prices of petroleum products have become. In fact, not only that the prices have increased, it's almost in scarce, not available. So Michael, can you quickly take uh, 1 minute? Your camera is still slanted.
See me sang itself.
I'm not sure even Michael can hear me now.
Nigeria has happened to him.
Okay, let's wait for Michael to come. While we wait for Michael to come, I want to tap. Okay, Michael, can you hear me? Nope, he cannot. Okay, let's speak the village boy's brain. The mighty are also complaining now in Nigeria. Village boy.
Yeah, I also read the Tony Lumelu complained. Usually, when I see something like that, I'd like to dig a bit further. And Nigerian Twitter, they can be very, there are a lot of savage reply. I walked through some of the replies to that tweet, and I saw someone say, "Look, it's because the guy is badly hit. That is one of those that own one of the Gencos, that's the generating companies. That because and government is owing them. That is a kind of you know reply from the point of personal pain. I'm not sure whether that is true or not, but even then, if we discount that, you cannot but reason with him with what he's saying, because like you rightly said, Nigeria could be great, but I will modify that. I will say Nigeria should be great. There is nothing other than us that is hindering us from being great, because if you look at our collective human intelligence, if it was something we can convert, to something tangible, Nigeria has the ability, the capability in people to make it great. But what do we need? We need a change mindset. We need a new orientation, or what we call what Sikh of Africa, those is called. We need a renaissance, moral renaissance this time around, value renaissance. So then Sikh was complaining about political renaissance, because of this independence fight that time. What we need today is value renaissance. We have to go back to our value, whereby we work for common good of everyone. So the effect we see in Nigeria today, where we are not great, is because we don't understand the concept of common good. And because we don't understand that concept, we don't work towards common good. And that is our albatross. So, if it is true that it's because one of Elumelu companies is affected, that is making him to react, what the reaction might be good, but it's coming too late. So it's only when you're out of the comfort zone that you should call. That you will know that people are eating from the dustbin already, So I think this idea of individually overcoming poverty, by ourselves, for ourselves, for our family, is one of the major disservice to the nation, and it's one of the major things that is making us not to progress as we should. It's not a matter of we should be progressing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Michael is still dealing with, I don't know what he's dealing with there. But then while we wait for him still, I would post the question to Timlane. Timlane, I think you are far away from your computer. Maybe it's in my eyes. If you can just pull it down a little bit. I think it's a little bit better. Yeah. So now, taking a clue from what he wrote, because I actually got a hold of all the rant. He said, "How can a country so rich in natural resources have 90% of its citizens living in hardship and poverty?" If I ask you this as a question, what would you say? I know it's difficult, but as a
Yeah.
Nigerian yourself, how would you?
Yes. I believe that narrative is very correct. Just like the village boy said, it is coming rather too late, and that's because of the self-sufficiency mindset that most Nigerians have. Like, okay, I have money and I'm fine. Then to hell with others. So I know and I believe that this is mostly what happens in the country, because on Twitter, it's just funny that Tony Elumelu's tweets generated a lot of traffic, and the reason is not far-fetched anyway, because the billionaire is one of the leading business guys in Nigeria. But many people have been ranting. Okay, for instance, I will take this as an example. Many people who are living in service estates in high areas in Lagos have been complaining. Even though such estates and service apartments are saying, please, we no longer want to hold ourselves, responsible for servicing your apartment, even if that means we are going to be cutting the cost that or the amount you are paying. That is to tell you that something is eating the country really hard. And that statement that about 90% of Nigerians are living in hardship is not a lie. It used to be in Nigeria, the social and economic strata in Nigeria used to be like the rich, the middle class, and then I don't know what to call the rest. But now in Nigeria, it's either you are rich or you are not. It is an absolute position in these days because of all of the things happening, and it is very sad. It is unfortunate that we have not only leaders but people who feel like until they are affected, they really do not need to speak up. I would take a cue from the NSAS protest that happened in October 2020, where Nigerian youths were literally begging celebrities to come join the protest, to just lend a voice. If we as a people add values and we actually know that what these people were protesting for in that time was a thing of concern to everybody, to all Nigerians, then I mean, you shouldn't be begged before you come on to, okay, let's, for instance, travel back to 2010, to 2014, 2015, when people were, saying they were tired of Goodluck Jonathan's, because I'm using the word allegedly, because now, if they were really tired in those days, they should be dead by now. It's not about weakness anymore, because many people came out. We saw actors, we saw Nollywood actors and actresses came out. We saw politicians, they came out. We saw a lot of people coming out to, say that what was happening in Nigeria was not acceptable. So Now that everybody is feeling the heat of this thing, I was expecting Citizen Oluwatosin to be here today. I'm sure he will have a lot to say about this current government in Nigeria. But like you said, it is true. The narrative is true, even though it is unfortunate and it is coming rather too late from someone like Tony Elumelu. But it is disheartening that truly a lot of Nigerians, in fact, majority of Nigerians are living in hardship and abject poverty today. Not now, the thing is, the unfortunate thing is it is not because of the lack of funds or income. Now, the commodities are getting scarce, and in fact, even your money sometimes will not be able to do the job for you. So I don't know what is eating the country right now, what is going to happen next, but it is sad. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Timilei. I'm glad Michael is back. Michael, I want you to run us through what is this current situation. Timilei, can you mute?
All right. Thank you so much. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah.
Well, the current situation at home is such a funny one. Funny in the sense that if you ask the rich, just like Tony Elumelu complained, he will have something to say. And if you ask the average, if you ask the poor, different community cluster, we have something to say. But however, this is as a result of, should I say, because I see the problem as a two-way thing, both on the side of the leaders and of course led in the sense that we contributed to the emergence of the class of leaders that are actually leading the country at the moment, and of course the leaders who are being entrusted with the public votes, who are very should I say irresponsive, and I wouldn't be wrong to also say that they are irresponsible towards meeting the demands of the citizens, It's quite unfortunate that we are in this mess at this time, because the whole thing is just anyhow. Just let me put it that way. But we can only hope that we citizens will be reasonable, better in a better way as we progress to 2023. Thank you. Please let me address the interruption from my background.
Please, I wanted to also say there's need for you to address that. Okay, thank you very much. Viewers, we are sorry for Michael's, he has to work on it. He's in Nigeria, so he has to stay in a strategic place where there is the light and, sunlight, and perhaps plug his phone sometimes, so this can be an issue. So we understand, because there's need for everybody to participate. Anyway, I wanted to ask the village boy a question. Self-sufficiency mindset. How much do you think this has affected us? And, I for one, I believe that Africans are, naturally a communal people. But we seem to have we've been driven away from that mindset completely, especially with what I've seen in Nigeria. It has become, for many years now, it has become your children, Now I'm currently in India. You see that many of the students that are doing masters now and bachelor students, their grandparents are graduates. Many of them are employees who are probably on pension right now. But many Nigerians who are probably their age mate, their grandparents were perhaps, farmers, people who barely have education. And so their own parents, who are relatively enlightened, educated, so they are still struggling to get their family out of poverty. And so the concentration seemed to have been on my family. Let me rescue myself first, and then we forget about the country. Village boy, I'm sure you have a better understanding or perspective of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, in my opening remark, I've actually said this. See this self-sufficiency mindset. It's like um, I will call it a poverty escape mindset, individual poverty escape mindset. That look, I do everything within my power to escape poverty, and of course, when I escape poverty, the first beneficiary is my family. So the moment I'm able to do that, it's like I don't care what is happening behind me. Yes, as you rightly pointed out, we were a very communal life. I mean, communal. We live a communal life kind of in the past, whereby we cater to the needs of one another. Unfortunately, it got to a point that it became burdensome because the resources were shrinking, opportunities were shrinking. I've said this over and over. When opportunities started shrinking, the it becomes difficult actually for an individual to cater to the needs of a sizable number of people. So, for instance, when public school collapse, you know, in those days, how much does it take the cost you to, you know, to go to school, to go to public school? I tell people, I usually tell my children that if I had been born in Nigeria today, the circumstance I was born, that I would not have been educated. And they will laugh. They say, Dad, what are you talking about? I said, you may not understand. Sometimes I have to sit down and educate them. Now, with the collapse of public education and with the urban rural migration, I mean rural urban migration, people are moving from urban area. So when they started Abuja, for instance, there were a lot of construction work. A lot of people moved to Abuja because of the construction work, and life was booming. After the construction, stabilizes, they discovered that Abuja has nothing little or nothing to offer. Many of them ran back to Lagos or to Port Harcourt. So as the next urban said that they can do this thing. Now the cost of living in this urban center became prohibitive for an individual. The landlords really, I mean, somebody who inherited a house as even the third generation, they what they are asking you to pay for a room is even more than what they used to build the house when they built it. So, and because of all this burden, people genuinely are no longer able to, you know, extend hand of fellowship to um, cousin, uncle, sister, aunties, and all that. But that is one side of it. But those who are in position, who are in government, for instance, if politicians or civil servants, if they have not neglected public service, whereby you have good primary health centers, as we used to have those days, dispensary and all that. You have good public primary education, public secondary education, and public university as we used to have them, whereby uh, the expenses of an average worker is not spent on providing things for himself, providing education for himself, providing electricity for himself, providing water for himself. When all those public services collapsed, everybody now, because it became a kind of a rat race. So, and people who are in charge of government, we talked about civil service some weeks ago. A permanent secretary, for instance, is more concerned about how much he will get before they put him out of office, rather than the service he owed to the public. When all these things, you know, you know, which is again part of self-sufficiency, is concerned about how he can, go on holiday abroad, lodge a five-star hotel and all that. So they focus on those things. And those who are in power, I mean, even in private sector, you see an MD of a bank that earns millions every month. But the same people, we employ fresh graduates and put them as casual laborers. I mean, if you go to this Elumelu Bank now, you may see a lot of OND, HND, who are casual as 5, 10 years. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But we know this will happen. So when you see all these things, it's like when they climb the ladder, they just throw away the ladder. When they climb through the ladder, they just throw the ladder away. Anybody find a way of surviving. So it is a collective responsibility. And and if you as a private individual, if you carry too much burden, you collapse. But the institutional support that what Awolowo did, if you want to go back to in time, was to say, okay, hey, give these people education. And for our generation, education was one of the instruments to overcome generational poverty. I've said this over and over again. They used to sit there in Rameta Kintoshi. So and that is why, three generations cannot be poor. And that is why you see our parents, especially women, I give it to the women. Our mothers of those days, I've seen it when I was growing up. I've seen women who sell their clothes, who sold their clothes rather, who sold whatever they have to send their children to school. Because they believe that once a child in a family is educated, that child is able to help that family overcome generational poverty. And it worked for so many of them. Then it got to a point now that, in those days before you graduated, you already almost have a job. Then thing got to a point that people will graduate 4, 5, 6 years, they could not find a job. That is why today you see a lot of graduates doing security job. Even this, if you want to use Elumelu as a case study now, go to any branch of the UBA. How many of the security guards are graduates? Is he not aware? Yes, he's doing his own bit. He's sponsoring a lot of entrepreneurs. I read a lot of things online that he's doing. But then, he's also a contributor to the decision we find ourselves. I've written about electricity that this current system is not going to work. I've suggested modular alternatives. And I advanced an argument in my new book, my quest for Nigeria Repair, that look, if you don't do this modular system, whereby a situation that is affecting Ikorodu doesn't have to affect people in Ikeja. System collapse. The whole nation was thrown into darkness. At a particular time, there is also no fuel. So, self-sufficiency is not bad in itself. It is up to those who in government to have this mindset of common good, at least common good for the majority of the people. So that is why a politician, even when at the beginning of COVID, the House of Rep insisted on buying bulletproof Prado, and they did buy it. They buy them, helping Japanese economy to grow at the expense of Nigerian economy. They were more concerned about their comfort than the welfare of the people. It's cut across. We have a clinic in Nigeria, on the seat of power, ASO clinic, that will spend billions of naira every year. But when if our president has kata, ordinary kata that pepper soup can cure, pepper soup can cure kata, he will fly to London. It is disheartening. I can speak on and on about this.
Yeah,
it's a mindset that we need to change.
Yeah, let me take on Michael on this one. Michael, I don't want you to speak too much grammar. I want you to go to a specific place. And Timileyin, please, I'll come back to you. The question I want to ask Michael is this. In your observation, moving around among the people, the low ordinary people, do you think they are angry enough? I think I've asked you this question a couple of times on this show. Do you think they are angry enough and are preparing to say in 2023 we will vote differently? Do you see such indications?
No, obviously not. It's the atmosphere looks the same as it used to be in the past. Because just like we say in Yoruba language, so which therefore means that people are still really like, okay, whatever happens, happens. And not only the people in the lower cadre of the category now, even the so-called educated, some civil servants, some young people like myself. It's just like, okay, whatever will happen, will happen. Just like Orun Yabo. It's not a matter of killing someone or Umayale Bubuwa lori nani. So the narrative still looks the same, and I can only hope that we get enlightened with time. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. Even though I am a little bit disappointed, I'm expecting that people will be angry, that there is no fuel, or the fuel that you got in your car spoil your car, or the
Yeah,
prices have skyrocketed.
yeah.
Uh,
When we really say that people are angry, you can't compare the ratio of those who are hungry to those who are not angry, because you and I will complain. Even you that were in the diaspora, you are complaining. But let us put ourselves on, on ratio basis. I'm telling you that it's going to be around maybe a ratio 2 to 9, thereabout, or 10. So, and it's sad. And I expect that by now, all of us we storm the National Assembly, just telling them what we want, because the systemic problem we have is as a result of successive bad leadership. And we have had, like Governor of Kano, Ganduje Umar Ganduje was saying some days ago that the colonial masters actually laid a terrible foundation for Nigeria. And I'm like, what? Are we that, as in, are we still that primitive in our thoughts, that you are still attributing Nigeria's problem of 1960 to a poor foundation, the colonial masters, that some of them are even far dead. I mean, they are long dead. It's sad. And we just have to get it right. We just have to get it right.
I guess the problem is because, well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe people are just, we become so complacent. We've been, I go the way of the religion again. Both Islam and Christianity in Nigeria have been preaching peace to people. And so we just begin to trust God and pray. This hope, somebody said it is the hope. It is hope that both politicians in Nigeria and the religious institutions are selling to Nigerians, and they're buying it in their millions. Anyway, I want to ask this question to Timley, being someone who studied geology in Nigeria. I expect that you have a little bit of, at least some background understanding about what's happening in the oil sector. Tony Elumelu said we are losing about 95% of our oil to theft. Is it true? And if that is true, in your opinion, why? Just give us a general view.
Thank you. I think Tony Elumelu, in his statement or in that tweet, he was just trying to be very diplomatic. Everything he said is true, like I mentioned. They might be coming too late, but it is true. So when he said a larger chunk of our petrol resources are being stolen, so some people might think he's talking about maybe vandalism from maybe the fighters or in the Niger Delta, militants in Niger Delta. But the truth is, truly, it is being stolen, but that's just a very negligible amount. Now, let us talk about logistics. We do not even have working refineries in the country. And some people are actually profiting from sending petroleum raw resources out. They are profiting out of it. You know how Nigeria works, right? Like when you say I spent $15 billion sending a barrel out to be refined, and they actually spent maybe 20. You know what that means? Because everything is going to come back on the cost of refining our petroleum resources. And when it comes back again, it comes back expensive because the end users are those people on the streets. So this is exactly what it might even mean nothing entirely, but I believe that what theft means in the business of oil in Nigeria is actually more than military or bunkering or whatever. But what these people have pen and paper to do is outrageous, and you cannot even imagine it.
Sorry, can you just permit me to add to what Mr. Timmy said? You see, I have a practical experience of how this thing will work because I've worked, because of what I do, I've worked, in some of the boundary communities between Nigeria and Benin Republic. And I can say this categorically without any regret that from exploration down to to exportation, down to importation, then the distribution of all of these refined products across the country is actually, we are being shortchanged. And if we watched the video, I think the comment of the former Senate president on Channels Television, I think that was last week, he made something profound. If a federal government to be telling us, I don't really know the amount now of liters, they are telling us that we consume per day as a nation, and he disagreed. And I think I've said it here in one of our conversations that we really don't know because no research in place, there's no evaluation in place, and there's no report in place, formal report, to actually tell us that this is the amount of liters of PMS that we consume in a day. I think for the very first time, the House of Representatives under Gbajabi Amila made the bold step to constitute a committee to actually look into that. Now, going back to what I observed, do you know that the fuel that they use in Benin Republic, up to Mali, up to which country do we have after Mali now that is within the West Africa? Most especially all of these countries within the West African sub-region, or let me say reasonable percentage of the PMS they consume per day goes out from our border, whether the Iroko border, whether the Seme border, whether the what do you call it? This one very close to in Kwara State. So, and this really calls for question if we have active custom service, because ordinarily this is what they should be doing. And the Senate president was able to the former Senate president rather was able to tell us that by his own observation, because he attempted looking into it in the 8th National Assembly, but by his observation, he said Nigeria should not be consuming up to, I think, or more than 45 million liters of petrol per day, and which I think, if I'm going by his line of thought, I will believe. But I am saying this categorically that a lot of, should I say, sabotage is going on in the petrol valuation in the country, and it's so sad that the hardship is what we are being felt. Imagine if what goes to Mali. Imagine if what goes to Burkina Faso. Yes. Imagine if what goes to Benin Republic is in circulation within the country. I don't think the hardship we are facing at this time will really be facing it. Thank you.
Let me just quickly add to that because the Nigerian problems that we have seen today, they are very multifaceted. Imagine a country where data is being digitized, where everybody has direct access to data. It wouldn't be so difficult or challenging to bring up statistics of how much we produce, of how much we use, of how many cars. We don't even know how many cars that we have in Nigeria. We don't know our fuel consumption. We don't know anything. And all of these things beg for questions, because we have someone that is that they call to that they are actually parading as a professor today to be the minister for, is it information technology or wherever? What's the name of this man?
Ali Pantami.
Imagine if we have data that actually show, because data they don't lie. Statistics, they are facts and figures that you cannot even contend with. If we have working data If we have data that have been digitized, if we have things work, in fact, let us just begin with information. If we have information, if we have this data information, we have everything about the amount of fuel Nigerians use, the number of cars we have. I think it would be very easy to probe all of these loopholes in this system.
Thank you, Timulai. I want to ask the village boy. Looking at if all this what these young men are saying, if there's any truth in it, there's a question, and it is still in what Tony Elumelu wrote. He said, "What is Nigeria's problem? Okay, what is it? What is our problem? Why is it that we are not able to meet up with our quota? I mean, OPEC quota for investment?" He said it's not as a sort of low investment. He said it's because of theft. He said he even wrote in front of that. He said pure and simple. Now he said, meanwhile, other oil producing countries are smiling to the bank now because of this, what's happening in Russia. But we don't even know whether we are benefiting from it or not as a nation. And we have a president who, quote and unquote, the Mr. Integrity, who put himself as the Minister of Petroleum. Yet all of this is happening. Do we have oligarchs in Nigeria, the quote and unquote, the owners of Nigeria, who are preventing all of us from benefiting from the low-hanging fruits? I keep saying that people of my generation, majority of people of my generation, have not really benefited from Nigeria. Maybe that's why it is, patriotism is low on our side. Anyway, village boy, what is wrong?
What is wrong with Nigeria is Nigeria. Nigeria is wrong with itself. It may look sarcastic, but that's the truth. You see, I don't like when you say we are an oil producing nation. I've told you we are not. We have oil, fine. It flows in our backyard, fine. That is where it ends. That's why it ends. We produce nothing. The NNPC that's supposed to be in charge of oil, whatever, what do? They've not produced anything. And they don't, before I go deep, Timilen said, we don't know anything. I disagree with him. That's half of the story. We don't even want to know anything. That's what I would say. We don't want to know. See, I without beating my chest, I was doing some work and I went to PPMC. That's petrol, whatever, at VI. And then I wanted to know this question you are asking. I asked the question. I was having meeting with some of the directors. It's okay. How many liter of petrol can we have from a barrel of oil? We were about 5 in that room that day. They laughed at me. So what are you looking for? I said, because I was doing some kind of reconciliation. I was doing some kind of calculation. They say, okay, it depends. I said, on what? He said, it depends on what you want to produce from a barrel of oil. That if you want to produce more of PMS, you want to produce more of AGO, you want to produce more of this things, that is not stable. I said, okay, can they give me an average? Like, okay, within 1 month, this is from 100 barrels of this is the average you will produce. Then, what is the quantity? How do you determine the byproduct? Because after a refinery, there are some byproducts that come, which like almost like a waste, but we're not a waste in itself, which are converted to other things. And are not, even then, they were not being accounted for. So I was asking this question. One of my professional colleagues, his soul fundress, it's now late. He beckoned to me. He said, my brother, this question you are asking, you won't get answer. But I, as your professional colleague, I will do anything within my power to give you some information that will help you with your job. And he did. I wasn't on that table for too long anyway. So, Nigerian government, I can be challenged on this, cannot boldly say and accurately so that this is number of barrel of oil that we produce every day. They don't know. They don't even want to know. If you are doing your research now, thank God that Tim is a geologist. If you go to DPR, if you go to NIPC, you want to collect data about oil production in the last 5 years. You know where they will send you to? They will ask you to go and ask Shell. They will ask you to go and ask ExxonMobil. That's where they will send you. And these are the people that are supposed to be in charge. They don't even have the record. So, and when they don't have this record, theft, oil bunkering. There are two types of oil bunkering. There's legal oil bunkering. There's illegal oil bunkering. So when you hear of oil bunkering, don't think that it is all illegal. It's not always all illegal. So, do we have oligarchs? No. What we have is feudalists. Feudal lords. They are what? They are unrefined. They are more unrefined than oligarchs. Oligarchs will still spend their money on something that is maybe of common good. I mean, Roman Abramovich is spending good money on Chelsea, and Chelsea is bragging and making noise all over the place. You can see what they spend their money on. But what will a feudal lord spend his money on? He will use it to marry more wives. He will use it to go and have a birthday party in Dubai. He will fly, go on holiday, and 2-year-old, he will put them on first class. He will lodge them in even 7-star hotel. That is what a feudal lord will do. They are worse. A feudal lord doesn't know about production. He knows about consumption. Our leaders are more concerned about consumption than production. That is where government will leave oil producing in the hand of oil giants. And just whatever they get from there, they spend. That is why we will have 4 refineries that have not worked since 2017, and they are collecting billions every year, spending billions every year. You will be surprised that these refineries that are not producing a drop of oil are still sending senior executives to training abroad and consuming extra code. We have a problem. Nigeria is Nigeria problem. Why? Because nobody is held accountable. So you do what you want to do. When you complain, they say it's because it's not your turn. And when you are there, they say when you are eating, you don't talk. It's a table manner. Don't talk when you are eating. So that is why, look, yes, and look, many of us know where it started. So, can he, if you want to, let's go biblical now, can he, like Jesus was telling those who caught the woman in adultery, that who has not let him throw stone? Elumelu cannot throw stone. He cannot. But at least, perhaps that tweet was not written by him. Perhaps it's his PA that wrote it. Of course, it generated traffic because his name is on it. Perhaps he wrote it himself. Then ask him to search his conscience. He is a contributor to the rot in Nigeria.
Okay.
I have a question, sir.
Go ahead.
Do we have to want to know before the government provides data, or because these things, they are supposed to be open source? I agree with the fact that because of the regulations that govern oil production and anything that has to do, it has to be based on request. So that's different. But there are some common data. Imagine I was working on a particular research, entrepreneurship research, a couple of months ago, and I don't even know how many youths are there in Niger Delta. I don't even know. There are so many things I was having problem with. And yeah, I was, when I was doing my master's, when I was just looking for a data, I just searched online, couldn't get it, and I just wrote to a particular, and that was also based on request, but immediately they provided me with the data. What I'm just saying is that we don't, apart from the fact that we don't want to know, I still feel like the government has the responsibility of doing these things. Some people were paid to do this job and they are just supposed to do it, because this is not, it's not a crime. It's not as if you publish a particular information that the government has asked you to do, you will be you'll be facing any problem or any corrupt charges of whatever, for whatever reason. So I feel like we don't have to want to know before the government does what they are paid or what they were put there to do.
Well,
Yeah,
let me quickly respond to that. Please slow down a bit. Why we don't want to know is this, because somebody was talking about 40 foundation. I agree, we have a 40 foundation. Now, the basic formation that every nation has, we don't have. We don't know how many we are. We are just throwing numbers up and down. We cannot boldly conduct successful census today because we don't want to know. Why? Because the knowledge that's supposed to set us free is the same knowledge. By holding that knowledge, this is what they use to hold us captive. So government is not interested in knowing, because knowing it, if they know it will leak. And if it will leak, it will expose the government. So they are not interested in knowing.
I think we've all contributed in a way, because we've not also been asking. You know, in India, there's what they call something.
No, I just told you my experience. I asked, and I was not given.
Yeah, is there Information Act in Nigeria, in the Nigerian Constitution?
As at that time, there was none, but it is now.
Yeah, the actually Freedom of Information Act. Yeah, yes, Freedom of Information Act.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
so which means some of
2010.
so some of this information is supposed to be freely available or uploaded on their website.
Yeah, but if you are actually attempting to, for example, now, if you go to Kwara State, for example, and you want to ask for any data, they will tell you that there's a policy of the federal government that it has not been domesticated in the state. So you see the politics behind all of this. And even if you go to some federal government establishment, they go, because the law is domiciled with the federal government and expected to be domesticated by the state. But some institutions of federal government will tell you that, who are you? As in that you're coming to ask us for one or other information like that. I think the problem is our system is a one that is designed in such a manner that is beatable for corruption, that covers corruption, because let me say a reasonable number of people working within the civil service or who are politicians, they are also benefiting from all of this. So attempt to ask for one data, even the one that really does not have to do with money, we reveal the level of incompetence. The one that does not have to do with money, we reveal the level of docility of some institutions. So it's quite sad that we really don't we are in this mess. And just to buttress what the village boy said about our population, I'm still doubting in my mind if Nigeria is actually up to 200 million. Some will tell us that we are about 200 million. Some will tell us we are 200 million. Some will tell us that we are 208 million. You can't just wake up one day and cook up data. And this is data, maybe postulation from UNDP, United Nations Development Program, UN projections, and all of this. But as an indigenous institution, what do you call it? A National Population Commission and National Bureau of Statistics, we still be depending on cook and all these manner of cooked stories and still selling to the public. We're supposed to conduct population census in 2000 and the last one was conducted in 2006, thereabout. The last one was supposed to be in 2016, but here we are in 2021 and nothing has been done.
In fact, census in Nigeria is not reliable. I remember the last one they did. Now we have to even the community themselves, they do bribe the officers who come to count and say we need to increase the number, so that because it is believed that there's some benefits as a result of how many people that is ascribed to be living in a community. And so because of all of these things, I think I don't know whether all of these things have become our culture, our society has been eroded so much so that we have entangled ourselves and put ourselves in this mess that we find ourselves. You know.
And sadly,
Anyway, moving
we are
on.
projecting the population like as if nobody is dying in Nigeria on daily basis. So
Yeah,
it is
but
believed it is believed that people that have been in existence since 2010, they are still the one living. They are just adding all manners of figure just to. It's sad.
yeah, don't forget also that boys and girls are not taking it easy on themselves at all. So people are giving birth to children, a lot of children, even though they cannot afford to take care of them, but people are having children in Nigeria. We can't argue against that one. Anyway, moving on, we are going to close in the next 5 minutes. I want to try to do that. All right. So evil prevail when good people are silent. I want to believe that a lot of good people in Nigeria have been silent. We've been battling all this, my own personal success, my own personal, just let me be delivered, as we say in church, to deliver from this poverty spirit. And so when we are delivered from poverty spirit during an election, we just sleep in our house. It's unfortunate that Tosin is not here today, and the business of election remains monkey see, monkey monkey do. I'm missing him now. Okay, so I'm going to be in conclusion. What is the solution? Okay, what is the solution? How do we become more vocal as we approach 2023? I know there's been a lot of vocal Nigerians who have become naysayers, and that alone is even appalling to me personally. There are people who are personally who have been saying, oh, 2023, we should not expect anything. We should forget about it. Whoever comes will not be different from Buhari. I think this is not something that is good. I think we can, collectively say, okay, we want to gravitate towards getting somebody that is at least that has more credibility, more knowledge, more capacity than Buhari, rather than saying, oh, it is not different, that we cannot get a better result. Anyway, I want to start with Timileyin. Which way forward?
Thank you very much. I have also noticed that so many people have come out to speak about the issues in our society, about the political system and our governance. But what people have experienced is that these people, when they come, they gather a lot of people, followership, and at the end of the day, you realize that when these people also get just a peep into the power area, they realize that their true person comes out. This makes people to have lost interest in many so-called activists of, I don't know, it could be Hausa, Igbo, of whatever descent, in Nigeria, So people are actually, there is trust issue. So what I believe is that nobody should come out in the name of making a name and standing on their own, to speak. Because if you come out, people will say, oh, it's a lie. Let him just get a little, tip from the government or people in government, and it's also sold out. But the point is, we need citizen education. The Nigerian society is not prepared for a civilized governance or any way of or a civilized way of living, of life. We need to be sensitized. We need our people to be sensitized, because the truth is, it is unfortunate, but the truth is, it is even too late to be discussing 2023 now, when the election is less than 12 months away. It is rather too late to be discussing election now. The problem we have in Nigeria, once a government comes in freshly, then the opposition goes to court and they fight for another 1 year or 1.5 years, then they settle. After fighting, then criticism starts and propaganda. Then a year or two before election, they start preparing on primaries. And this is to tell you that most political systems are not actually created to be people-centric. They actually have their own agenda. These people they are scheming every day. So they have their own agenda, and they are not working for the common people. So my advice is that everybody has someone in their home that is kind of more civilized or exposed to what the realities or things that are actually obtainable in saner climes. So it could be our own responsibility of letting people know that this election that you are heading to, or you are going to the polls to do anything, this is not just about my vote will count or my vote is just, that is the only power you have. Once people understand that this is the only power that will lead them to getting their right from the government, then they will know how significant they are, even if they are just one person in that family, how significant they are in the scheme of things. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Timilai. You've taken 3 minutes when I thought you would take one. Thank you, anyway. Michael, way forward. Are you still there? Okay, Village Boy, please.
Way forward. Participation, participation, participation. Participation in the process of electioneering, participation in voting, participation in defending your vote. And we have to look at new uh, method of financing politics. It is not a case of where you leave politics to people with deep pockets. We should be looking at something like crowdfunding for anybody who seek political office. If you have to spend all your life savings or your life investment to go into politics, it means you are doing business and you want returns. So, and economics and morality sometimes they don't mix together, they don't gel. So, there are a lot of fundamentals that we have to address. But for me, I think the people should again, like I've said in the past, let us reawaken the office of the citizen, the rights, the obligations, the duty, the responsibility, the privileges of the office of citizen should be reawakened. We should hold people that are representing us to account. Nigeria is where you can get away with everything, anything. That is not good for the system. We need to overhaul the system because we have three arms of government, and the three arms of government are like three hands of a leper, all soiled. So we need value renaissance, like I said earlier on. Even the voters themselves, who easily dance, they buy a shopping for them, they give them a bag of rice, they give them some loaves of bread, and they dance and they say all so many annoying things. It's like selling off. We pray for those of you who prayer that the Lord should deliver. I'm now in evangelism mood now. To deliver Nigeria from the spirit of Esau. What is the spirit of Esau? Who sold his birthright because of porridge? Sweet porridge. We need Nigeria, those who believe in prayer. Pray that God is delivered from the spirit of Esau. Because they've started now. We see all of branded product already flying in the market. And they don't know. You are bargaining your future. You are locking your future for 5 years or 4 years. So we own our own Messiah. If you want to fix our country, we have to change our mindset. We have to have a value renaissance. Thank you. This before they say I'm talking too much.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. We will be, closing now. Thank you very much for those who have watched this broadcast today, and thank you to my guests. I want to close with this. Henceforth, let us focus on Nigeria. Let us not give up. Even though it may seem late, it may seem too late, let us not give up hope. Let's not give up on Nigeria, especially as we progress towards 2023. Let us, campaign. Let us canvass. Let us convince. Let us get involved as much as you can, as much as possible. Bearing in mind that evil will prevail where good people keep silent. Thank you very much. My name is Fadma Abiodun Paul, and with me tonight has been Dr. Bolu Oluwadele, Timileyin is a PhD student in Canada, and Michael is in Nigeria. Michael is an advocate, and we are all pushing towards a better Nigeria. We'll be here again next week. I want us to particularly talk about ritual money in Nigeria. Many of us has written about it. So I am working on inviting somebody, Babalawo, actually. The Babalawo who has been campaigning against ritual money, who says ritual money is a scam. I was talking with him today on Twitter, and he said, let us set it up. So I am coming to discuss that next week. Please get ready. Thank you very much. God bless you. Do have a beautiful weekend. Bye-bye for now. And please do share and subscribe if you find yourself on YouTube. Please do subscribe to our channel. Thank you.